Honey, we got any Heinz 57? Well, hello there, parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. I am your host, Sean Donnelly.
And I'm your co-host, Marianne Donnelly.
In this video, we are telling you about the Senator John Heinz History Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
But before we get into that, if you are into paranormal history and forensic type videos,
don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell so you make sure that you'll hear from us next time we post a new video.
Also, too, if you like this video, hey, please feel free to share it out with your friends and kind of tell them, hey, you gotta go check out and see what Painting D's doing over here. Bring somebody else to the party. Never know, you might like it too. But this here is a location video, and what that means is we're going to cover the history, our personal experiences while we were there, and why we believe that the location is haunted. To get started with that, we're going to share with you some of the history, so watch this clip and we'll be right back.
The Senator John Heinz History Center is a 370,000 square foot museum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is named for H. John Heinz III, a late U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania who died in 1991. The building was originally owned by the Chautauqua Ice Company, which sold ice harvested from Chautauqua Lake in New York, and sold both to large restaurants and other firms, as well as to individuals. For 56 cents a week, 10 pounds would be delivered each day by horse and cart to your location. They also rented out space in the building to others, including the Union Storage Company. The current building was constructed in late 1898, but it was not the first on the property. In fact, this building replaced a nearly identical building that had been destroyed by fires, one October 27th of 1893, and the second earlier that same year on February 9th of 1898. The building is 7 stories of red brick walls with Romanesque stone detailing on the first floor and arched windows on the second. These brick walls were built to hold the weight of all the ice that would be stored there. The first floor ceiling was supported by structural steel columns and beams, and brick barrel vaulted ceilings providing its strength. The second through the 7th floors have heavy oak timber columns providing strength that is also supposed to slow fires. This building material was chosen after the first fire, which twisted the metal ironwork, allowing the building to fall in. This was what was in the building during the second fire, but it was said that it was other materials in the building that caused explosions that made the building come down in the fire. These more recent timbers, though, that are in the building today were brought in from the Pacific Northwest, and during recent renovations, growth rings in the wooden columns were analyzed and determined that the trees that are used were dated back to 1770. In the early days, the building was built to keep the cold in, and so it had very thick walls, few doors, and small windows that were kept closed tight and bound with thick mesh and iron shutters. It had no staircases above the second floor. It only had elevators. Now, the ice-laden rail cars were also able to go right into the building to bring the ice in. It did that on a spur that ran by the loading dock via the chamfered corner that faced the northeast. And also, it helped with that extra high ceiling on the first floor. By 1901, Chautauqua Ice merged with other local ice companies to form what they called Consolidated Ice Company. Advances in refrigeration technology allowed Consolidated Ice to then make its own ice on demand, so the company shifted its focus from ice storage to merchandise storage, establishing Consolidated Storage in 1907. Consolidated continued to sell distilled water until 1948, as well as iced boxcars for distributors in the Strip District. The company assets were ultimately sold to Alderman Lumber Company in the early 1950s, and it was used by them until it was later sold to the Public Auditorium Authority of Pittsburgh in 1991 for just over $3 million. The city-county agency, which is now called the Sports and Exhibition Authority, leases it to the History Center today. In 1996, the current History Center moved into the building after leaving its former location on Bigelow Boulevard. In 2000, the History Center became an affiliate of the Smithsonian Institution. With its new affiliation with the Smithsonian, it was able to, in 2004, open up a 5-story addition, which they called the Smithsonian Wing, and by doing so, became the largest history museum in Pennsylvania. In 2009, the American Alliance of Museums recognized the History Center as one of less than 800 museums that it was accrediting around the country. In 2014, the History Center opened the new Museum Conservation Center, located directly behind the museum, which is a 9-story building that houses 32,000 of the museum's more than 1 million artifacts, all under one roof and with Smithsonian quality storage. Today, updates to the building include exposed ductwork and conduit, low-voltage lighting systems, new structural glass walls that allow it to maintain visually open interior spaces, and establish a clear distinction between new construction and the existing building fabric. So what is displayed in this giant museum and archives anyway? Well, you name it. The museum presents historical information from 250 years of American history with a Western Pennsylvania connection, through to more current history of the Heinz Company. Pittsburgh sports. And even sets and props from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It also houses vehicles like an old trolley, it has old funeral materials, an over 200-year-old pickle, early appliances such as curling irons, Meriwether Lewis's life mask reconstruction, a George Washington life mask and his hair, the Russian tea set given to the Westinghouses by the ambassador to Russia, rare documents in a research laboratory. It has even housed special exhibits from the Smithsonian Institution, like the Apollo 11 space capsule. The list just goes on and on. Oh, and by the way, they accept your artifact donations too. So what will be there next?
All right, there you go. The history of the Heinz History Center. We visited this location October 12th of 2018.
That's right.
And we were forced to go there.
We weren't forced to go there, but we did go there so that we could see the Apollo 11 space capsule that they had on display there for a limited engagement from the Smithsonian.
That's right. And we put out a video about that. I'll put a link to that above Mary Ann's head over there. Ding! That shows you the space capsule. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And of course, this location is haunted. There's some paranormal claims there. A lot of people in comments, it's been pretty cool. It's like the night at the museum. The mannequin comes alive.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is, and probably what I should have titled that.
Probably should have.
You know, I might go back later and change the thumbnail and retitle that. But yeah, the reports are the mannequins do come alive. If you want to see that video, I'll put a link to that right, ding, up there too.
That's right.
And of course, Marianne, the forensic photographer, took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
Actually, I took very few pictures because we had camera problems at the time, if you recall. I could have taken more.
She's right. She is right. Which gets to our personal experiences. Well, when we first got there, we lucked out and got a parking place right in the parking lot across from the building. Okay? Mm-hmm. The place was packed.
Yes, because they were having a naturalization ceremony right there in floor 1. And they had a lot of guests at the time.
Now, we've been to Pittsburgh a few times, okay, but we're not I'm not real good at navigating.
I'm not good at directions at all.
At all, okay. And every other time I've been to Pittsburgh, I've got lost, even with the GPS. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Pittsburgh's a lot of one-way streets and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, Pittsburgh and us don't get along so well with that whole, like, being able to find ourselves.
Yeah. So once we got this parking place, okay, keep that in mind. I was not moving the car until we got back on the freeway to come home.
That's right.
And so when we went inside...
We hadn't gotten inside yet. We had started to walk down the street, getting to the door, and I started snapping pictures, and then I'm like, it says there isn't a card in this camera.
Yeah, but there was.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, no, there wasn't. I left it at home. It was in my laptop.
But I happen to have some cards in my purse because, well, my purse is a catch-all.
Yeah. So here we are. We drove all the way to Pittsburgh to see the Apollo, to take pictures, and I know my cell phone was dying. Didn't have a charge on my cell phone. What are we going to do to take pictures? And video. What are we going to do? So we get inside, and we're having not an argument. We don't have arguments like at each other's throat arguments.
No.
Sometimes. Very rare.
Very rare.
But we're having a heated discussion. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? We need an SD card.
That's right. So I started going through my purse, and I did locate SD card, but it wouldn't work.
So tip, always make sure you have SD cards and batteries.
Yeah, it wouldn't work, and so we're like, well, we got to go get another SD card.
Well, first we tried the gift shop to see if they sold them there, and they don't. And then we asked, is there CVS or Rite Aid or anything around? And no. So we went walking. Never found anything.
No, we went. There was like a comic book store we went into, and we're like, "Do you have SD card by any chance?"
They didn't know
and they're
what
like,
SD card was.
"What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
Never mind.
So we almost didn't get footage.
But for whatever reason, we were able to finally manage. We just said, "Forget it. We'll just deal with what we can." But we were finally able to manage to somehow get the camera to work a little bit.
I kept playing with it, kept formatting the card. Finally, it worked, and I was hoping that she was snapping all these pictures, and they came out, and they did. So, thankfully, we did get it, and my cell phone held out for video.
Right. And at the time, I was not happy with you for not having the card in the camera.
I was in trouble.
But at the same time, I was like, well, it's not a big deal because they said we can't take pictures in where the capsule is anyway.
That's right. No photography allowed, but yet you guys saw pictures and video.
Right. I said, but, if we really, we can come back anytime. The building will still be here. We can come back, take pictures another time. It'll be okay. Then we got into the Apollo room, and they're like letting people take pictures, and I'm like, well,
but only cell phones. Only cell phones. That's what I don't get about these places. Well, you can use your phone. Well, they don't realize our phones are S8s. I know S8s or S9s are out, but S8s, they take pretty good pictures and video. Okay, we'll use our phone. Not a problem.
Yeah. So I was quite excited.
There's phones everywhere taking pictures and videos, so hey, game on.
Yeah, well, when we first went in, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to sneak a picture in here. And then everybody was taking them, and the guy was standing literally like right there. And I'm like, well, he doesn't seem to be minded, so I'm going to take it too.
So all those pictures that you saw and video that you saw of the space stuff, which is lent by the Smithsonian, everything was done on our cell phones, just so you know. Yeah. Didn't use the good Sony camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not sure. Obviously that was the only date that we went. I was saying, well, maybe they just don't care today like as much because they're like worried about the naturalization ceremony going on.
Don't know.
I don't know, but I had called before, like I called a week before, and they're like, yeah, no, you can take pictures in the building, but not in the space Apollo capsule area. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't know.
All right, so why do you think this location is haunted?
Well, I think it has something to do with the two demolishings of the building through fire, and the loss of life that was associated with that.
What was the final count that we come up with? 18?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, between the two fires.
Yeah, the first fire there was 6, and then a second fire there was a bunch of them that were killed, and then some that were critically endangered of being dead, and I didn't see any results later to see if they did. So at least 18 people.
Plus, over the years, it's been storage, it's been, other factories, it's been office space, it's been all kinds of stuff. Plus now it being a museum and all those artifacts that are in there that could have attachments. Yeah, I can see. And there have been groups in there that have done investigations. So the ghost story and folklore and stuff is based off of paranormal investigations. So, yeah, I can see it. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, the attachment portion could be where the one little ghost is from because it's supposed to be a little girl. Mm-hmm. So it could be attached to one of the artifacts.
Yeah, they don't know who she is. They didn't get a name or anything like that.
Right. Or they think it might be a little girl looking for her father who died in one of the explosions.
That one's speculation. They haven't been able to communicate with her, but she's been seen a couple times. So, quite interesting place. Definitely. Is it on the go back list?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to go back and see that old pickle?
Yeah, old pickle.
I mean, the space capsule will be going away in a couple of weeks, but the old pickle, it's going to stay.
So at some point, we're going to have to, I don't know, when we start doubling back on places, we'll be having breaks in the location weeks and be doing updates and, looking back and bringing back old videos.
So we'll get like a stamp that goes, update.
Yeah, we'll be doing updates and stuff like that, but definitely that's close. It was pretty cool. I'm sure we didn't see a lot of stuff when we were there.
Oh, absolutely, because they have
it just
like
kept going and going. We didn't even go up to the library.
Right. So. They have like 1 million artifacts in their building, and some of them are in storage, some of them are in, some of them are out.
Yeah.
Rotation of displays.
So if you've been there and if you like this location this week, please let us know down in the comments. We'd appreciate it. Again, make sure you look back and see some of the videos from this week that are associated. Normally we do a series all week. So if you're new to our channel, didn't know that, if you look back, we have the links and everything attached. And that's it. Right? Mm-hmm. All right, folks, till next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting. Let us know if you like this video by hitting that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, support our channel by hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified the next time there's a video from Panic D Videos.
Thanks for watching.
Happy hunting.